Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Tonight, we are here for the Fueled by Verge 109 at Iowa, and the drivers are wrapping up the final minute of practice. Come on in, sit on down, and join me and Kelly Dahl as we bring you all the great Fueled by Verge Late Model Pro Series racing action. How you doing out there tonight, Kelly?
I'm doing great. I've been looking forward to this, as I've said many times on the media night that we had on Sunday. And going back to that media night, we learned a lot about these drivers. There's a lot of new drivers and a lot of returning drivers. And I think one of the biggest story is just this roster that we have this season. It's a huge list of drivers, and every single one of them are just some of the best short track drivers in iRacing. So I'm looking forward to this season, I think more than any other one. We've also had a lot of changes over the off season. We've got, we're now in the super late models instead of the old pro late models, and we've got the new heat races. Speaking of, time has just ticked over. We're done the practice, and we're going to be moving on to those heat races.
Yeah, heat races are going to come at us very quickly. Our heat races tonight are brought to you by the Western Super Series. Make sure you check these guys out. A lot of great action out of them. But, Kelly, I don't know what to expect. We're in a new car, new track, all kinds of new stuff well, I shouldn't say new track, but we're going to some new tracks because we're running this super late model. It's a little bit bigger car.
Yeah, a little bit bigger, a little bit more horsepower under the hood. That's one of the things that drivers were talking about on Sunday. And the big thing to pay attention to, what they were mentioning, is that tire wear. Because there's more power to that car, you put more power down on the track. And because this league, you don't have tires in the pits. So you're going to have to focus on that tire repair. But now we better move on to our grid of this first heat, because it looks like they're going to get rolling out.
That they are. Row number one brought to us by Best Colorful Creations. Matt Roll in the 90 and the 11 machine of Brian Hacker. Row 2 will be Bill Martin and Rich French.
Row 3, we're going to see Brian Jones and Andy Lambert. And that's the final row of this heat. We'll see Mike Alexander and Steph Marinac.
There is our starting lineup, and you'll have to excuse me and Kelly. We're just as nervous as everyone else is out there to get kicked off this first race of the season. I'll tell you what, Kelly, if it weren't for all the nerves I have going on, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't even know I was alive.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. I mean, this is their first time seeing the heat races in the Upstate Racing League, at least in the paved side. There's been kind of I guess kind of test runs with the dirt side of things that kind of led to this, but these heat races are a random order. There was no qualifying. It is not based off qualifying time. It's not based off practice time. These are a random order heat. So it's going to shake things up over the season. You're not going to see those, you're not always going to see the fastest driver start the feature on the front row. So it's going to put a lot more focus into passing, and I think it's going to really bring a lot more of on-track action to these races.
Yeah, I for one am ready for it. Lights are out on the Ford Mustang. We get ready to go racing here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, fueled by Verge in the super late model heat race number 1, first race of the season, getting ready to come your way. Don't forget, 4 drivers gonna transfer out as the green flag comes out. We're underway here at Iowa.
And already looking for some 3-wide action. Bill Martin trying to throw his way in the middle 3-wide, and just behind them, they are 3-wide. Rich French, Brian Jones, and Andy Lambert all the way across this track, fighting for that final transfer spot, as only 4 cars will go into the heat. So half of these guys will be going to the LCQ, and really right now, that's just Andy Lambert on the high side holding on to that position, just trying to keep in that last transfer spot. Steph Marinac making a move on the outside of the 91, and now he's going to try to go after this last transfer spot.
We go on aboard with the 72 of Lambert as he gets down to the bottom through 3 and 4. Into the wall goes the 2 of Marinac. A very early mistake by the 2 machine That might see Steph Marinac into the LCQ, but we still have 8 laps to go in the event.
Back up to the front, Brian Hacker is fighting with Bill Martin. These guys have been side by side since the drop of the green flag. I don't think either one of them has cleared the other just yet, and these guys are both in a transfer spot at this moment, so they got to keep it clean and really not have to battle too hard. But essentially, these guys are battling for pole position on the feature race because this is heat number 1. They are still even up. This is now lap 4, and neither one of these drivers has given an inch. Bill Martin looking like he's going to get a bit of the advantage on the inside there on that, but he's still not going to clear Hacker. Hacker going to keep his nose in on the high side and keep working that high line. Now Martin's going to clear in turn 1. Turn 2, Hacker's going to stick his nose in again, but not able to hold on to a little bit of a bobble from him off the corner, so Martin will take that position.
Field working its way off of turn number 4. Going to be 5 laps to go this time around. And the 39 of Bill Martin out front as he has got the lead for the moment. Meanwhile, the transfer spot is heating up. Steph Marinac in the 2 machine has moved into that transfer spot. Andy Lambert up into 3rd. Matt Roll in the 90 machine falling back just a little bit. The 91 of Rich French and Mike Alexander battling side by side down into turn number 1. This heat race has a ton of action. We do have Brian Jones in pit lane here in this heat race, so an early exit for Brian Jones in the 19 machine.
Yeah, Matt Roll started pole for this heat and has just kind of been moving backwards since the drop of the flag. That's allowed Lambert and Marinac to get around him. Marinac now getting around Lambert to move himself into 3rd and get himself a bit of a better starting spot for the feature if he's able to hold it. Now rolling on to just past halfway through lap 8, now coming into 3 and 4. Martin's got a decent lead over Hacker at this moment, so that 39 machine has got some speed tonight.
2 laps to go here in heat race number 1 at Iowa. Bill Martin in the 39 machine. Beautifully painted white with 4 round tires on it. That thing looking very fast. He saved a lot of weight by not putting any sponsors on it.
Yeah, he certainly has saved a little bit of weight on the paint side of things, but I don't know if that's going to make too much of a difference here. But now looking back at this transfer spot as we go on to the white flag for this heat, Andy Lambert holding on to that last transfer position. He's got a good 6/10 over Mike Alexander. Alexander pushing hard. He's able to get around Matt Roll, but I don't think he's going to be able to close the gap enough to make this position. So Bill Martin is going to win the heat race number 1, the first heat race of the season and in this league. Brian Hacker going to get 2nd, Marinac in 3rd, and Andy Lambert securing the last transfer spot.
All right, heat race number 2 getting ready to come at you. Drivers taking to the grid, and Kelly, let's say you and me switch this off a little bit better. We'll do 1 row apiece here.
Sounds great.
All right. Row number 1 for the starting lineup, brought to you by Best Colorful Creations. Brett Bartels in the 42 and the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre.
Row number 2, we're going to see Matthew Barkhouse and the big boss man himself, Al Smith Jr.
Row 3 will be Jeremy Watkins and Brian Rogers Jr.
And the final row of this heat is going to see the number 5 of Scott Austin and the 00 of Tim Hale.
Drivers will have 2 pace laps here at Iowa. A little bit of a short track, so they give them some time to warm up the engines a little bit. But Brett Bartels in a new color scheme for him. I'm not used to seeing him in this powder blue and orange, I guess. I don't know. I'll tell you what, the 81 Zumando machine on his outside looks just as sharp. A lot of beautiful paint schemes out here. 96 of Al Smith has spent all off season working on his paint scheme, and it shows that the custom number on that 96 is very intricate.
Yeah, definitely a sharp looking car. A lot of great paint schemes out here, and another reason why I always look forward to the throwback race that they have every year is a lot of these guys just have some very talented painters in that they know, or they are themselves very talented painters, and we see some great paint schemes and very creative ones as well. So always looking forward to that race. I'll be looking forward to it again this season, but getting ready for heat race number 2 of the night.
Lights are out on the pace car field, working its way through 3 and 4. That Ford butt stain getting ready to drop out of the way. Once again, it makes the left-hand turn to pit road, and heat race number 2 coming at ya. Green, a flag is out, and away we go. Brett Bartel's on the inside of McIntyre in the 81. The 81 going way up to the high side. Al Smith following hotly in his tire tracks.
But Al's got to keep his eyes in the rearview mirror, because that 12 of Brian Rogers looking for that last transfer spot, seeing if he could sneak his way around the 15 or the 96, but everyone's kind of even up. Bit of a mistake from Bartels. He's slow off of that corner. It looks like he may have gotten tight. Now 3 wide in turn number 1. The 15, 42, and 96 battling for the transfer spot. Big bobble from the 42. He loses a lot of speed. 96 in the wall. Big wreck now. His 42's around.
The 42 machine goes for a spin. No caution yet, and there it is. As we have another car in the wall. That is Brian Rogers on pit road. Jeremy Watkins in the 71 trying to get it unstuck from the wall. Let's go to our turn 3 instant replay. We go off the nose of Watkins. The 42, the 96 get together as Al Smith got into the outside wall. And then Rogers comes up the track into Watkins. Take another look at this from our blimp. See all kinds of stuff going on there, Kelly.
Yeah, it looks like after that hit from the 42, it just kind of, Rogers just had no control of that car. He was trying to keep it down on the racetrack, but ended up just kind of overcorrecting on his slide, and it slid right back up. And 71 of Watkins, just kind of a unfortunate bystander there. He's now down pit road as well, so I think that's going to take both of those drivers out of this heat, and they're pretty much slot them into the LCQ. Looks like Al Smith is claiming the penalty there, so he will be moved to the back of the field. That will make him 6th place at the start of this next feature, or this next restart. And if I remember correctly, these guys also only have a limited amount of penalties per night. I think there is also a penalty point system. So if you get too many of these penalties throughout the season, you will be forced to sit for a race. So these guys really emphasize clean racing here.
So early mistake to the 96 here tonight is going to pay the penalty. Hopefully that's the only one he makes, because that beautiful 96. Now, so far, that's my favorite one out here tonight. But man, you can tell a lot of drivers put in effort to get these paint schemes looking good. The 5 of Scott Austin also has a wonderful paint scheme here tonight as well. I just like seeing all these new paint schemes. It's like Christmas, only no presents to unwrap. We shouldn't unwrap these.
So going through the penalty system, just refreshing myself and for those that do not know the system here. The first claimed yellow is an EOL. Second claimed yellow, so if Al Smith gets another yellow, causes another caution in this heat race or in the future, it'll be a 1-lap penalty. A third claimed yellow is a DQ at the point of the claim, and each yellow will count as 1 caution point. Caution points are cumulative, and if a driver reaches 4 points, they will be forced to sit out 1 week. If they have a clean week, though, it does reduce their caution points. So the first EOL of the season does in fact, and the first EOL of the season and the first penalty point does in fact go to the league admin himself, Al Smith.
So the league owner gonna have to answer to himself here. He is serving his penalty, showing that there is no favoritism here with this upstate racing league.
No, certainly not. Al may be the owner and a racer, but he does kind of distance himself. He has passed off a lot of the power to a lot of other admins. There isn't just one person in charge here. It is a group, definitely a group effort. But looks like we are stacked up, getting ready to go again in this heat. It'll be lap 7 when we go green again.
Limp coverage provided by Austin Designs tonight. Scott Austin in the race in that 5 machine. 81 of McIntyre on the inside as we get ready to go green flag racing once again. And McIntyre on the throttle as the green flag comes out, and we are back underway with 4 laps to go.
Tim Hale not getting a great start there. He's going to drop back a bit, but he's at least a bit lucky. The 2 cars behind him that'll challenge him for this last transfer spot are our two cars that were involved in that accident. So I believe both have a little bit of damage, so that might help Hale out just a little bit as he is starting to pull a gap over that 42 and 96.
81 of McIntyre out front as he continues to lead, has been out front for 7 laps. McIntyre showing that this car may be fitting into his wheelhouse, and now Brett Bartels and Al Smith make contact in the back behind each other, but no caution there.
Yeah, just a little door banging from the 2 of them, and yeah, there's definitely some front right damage on Al, and a little bit of front end damage as well on Bartels. So these guys are running damaged race cars, and I think that's just going to hurt them a little too much. They've already lost almost a full second. I think it is over a second on Hale, so Hale's just kind of cruising at this point. These guys in the top 4 are just kind of fighting for their starting position now, and Hale's called up the back. Oh, 15 into the wall just in front of him, so Barkhouse gets into the wall. That's going to allow Austin to move to the inside of him. Final lap of this heat, and these guys are racing for starting spots in the feature.
White flag is out as Scott Austin in the 5 trying to make a move to put himself into 2nd place. Is he going to be able to get the run up off the corner to hold on to it? Doesn't look like it. It doesn't matter. Jimmy McIntyre winning the race.
Yeah, so Jimmy McIntyre will roll off in 2nd place at the start of the feature. Drivers transferring along with him will be Matthew Barkhouse, 5 of Scott Austin, and the double lot of Tim Hale. The rest of the drivers will go to the LCQ.
All right, heat race number 2 starting to line up. That means it is time once again to go through our best colorful creations starting lineup. Row number 1 will be A.J. Childs and the 6 machine of Joe Schaefer.
Rolling off in row 2 on the inside, the 45 of Doug Wysocki, and on his outside, the 20 of Justin McDuff.
Row 3 will be Guillaume Fortin and Mike Holtclaw.
And rounding out this 3rd heat race will be Wayne McDuff and Bill Bessler.
So the field having 2 laps to pace around. This is last year we watched group qualifying. This year they are doing heat races with a random draw, and it has been exciting from the drop of the hat. We have quite a few drivers here. We'll have a few heat races to get through. Top 4 advance into the A main, so to speak. Everyone else will have to hit the LCQ.
Oh yeah, we haven't even finished our heat races of this first night, and I'm already liking this change. The heat races have so far been a fantastic addition. We've got some great racing in those first 2 heats, and hopefully these the rest of these heats, we're actually having, I think, 5 tonight. 5 starting heats. And from there it'll be the rest of those drivers will be LCQ'd.
All right, A.J. Childs in the 41, gonna have control of this field when the pace car gets out of his way. Down and away goes the pace car. Childs in the 41 waiting for the green flag. And green flag is out, and we are underway here for our 3rd heat race.
A great start from Joe Schaefer. He immediately got on the gas when that green came out and was able to jump ahead of that 41 car. The 45 of Doug Wysocki not getting a good start. He's now defending that final transfer position. Just in front of him, though, Justin McDuff, he wants to move even further up the field. He goes to the inside of the 41, and A.J. Childs finds himself already losing ground. And but he's looks like he's going on the counterattack, kind of taking a look to the inside of the 20, not going to go for it though, backing off coming into turn 1, but he did have some momentum, but that corner not a good one from him, because now here comes Wysocki, and just following him is Guillaume Fortin. Fortin looking for that spot, that transfer spot, as well as Bill Bessler. Look at him on the inside.
21 machine of Bill Bessler on the inside of the 41 of Childs. That is a transfer spot right there. Put the 21 into it. And I'll tell you, I have seen a lot of these drivers trying to drive into the corner hard and then get on the brakes to slow it down. I made that mistake when I first started driving this super late model. A lot of these drivers going to have to try and settle in to this car and learn how to roll the corner. And AJ Childs started on the front row, quickly falling all the way back to 6th place. A little bit of work for him to do, but AJ Childs, a talented driver, he will learn this car quickly.
Yeah, Guillaume Fortin on the outside looking in right now, kind of on the bubble, trying to find a way past these two guys in front of him. The 21 right in front of him of Bill Bessler, he's the last one holding on to a transfer spot, and he's now side by side with the 45 Wysocki. So Guillaume Fortin kind of has a pick of the lane here. He can take the better lane as these guys are kind of fighting for position and just kind of follow whoever wins this battle through, and might be able to steal a spot off him as well. Looks like the 21 kind of edging out the 45 just a little bit. Not quite getting clear though, and Fortin trying to take a look. Now he's going to go all the way to the bottom, trying to get almost underneath the 21, but he's going to get underneath the 45. They're side by side now for this final transfer spot.
Guillaume with the advantage going into the corner. Wysocki way up on the high side, trying to roll that car through the corner and carry momentum down the straightaway, but put Guillaume into the final transfer spot.
And Fortin with some great driving to put himself into the transfer spot. Taking a quick look at the front of this heat, Joe Schaefer still leading with Justin McDuff hot on his heels. The gap has kind of remained the same over these last few laps. I don't think McDuff is really pushing for that position. He knows that they're already in the race. He doesn't have to risk it. He might maybe try to push for it on the final lap, or if that 6 makes a mistake, but he's a smart driver, so I don't expect him to really try to force a pass here.
Arts Barbershop adorning that 20 machine, and it is all over the back bumper of the 6. Schaefer holding him off for now, but with 2 laps to go, maybe Justin McDuff might be thinking, you know, 2nd place is good, but I might like to win my first heat race of the night.
He's taking a look on the high side, almost getting into the wall. He's now making a move on the high side. He's got some good speed. He's going to come around on the high side in turns 3 and 4, and McDuff had a little bit of success last season, coming down to the white flag. He had, I think, a race win last season. But it seems like he really practiced over the off season, or maybe this car just kind of suits him, because he had some great success during the kind of preseason that they have. That's the approval series. So he did some great races there. They're still side by side now, coming off at turn number 4. 20 though, gonna get a better corner exit. He's gonna get into the wall, but that's not gonna matter. He's gonna win heat race number 3. So put Justin McDuff onto 3rd place for the feature race.
So heat race number 3 in the books. Heat race number 4 starting to come at you. And once again, drivers starting to line up in their grid spots for heat races. How many heat races are scheduled here tonight?
We're going for 5, but
5.
The results of the last one, we're going to have Justin McDuff transferring, Joe Schaefer, Bill Bessler, and rounding out our transfer spot, that's the 13 of Guillaume Fortin.
All right, time to go through our best colorful creations starting lineup. The 70 of Dylan Canova and the 68 of Ron Piles.
Just behind them, row number 2, that's going to be the 1 of Jeremy Carpenter and the 34 of Ty Cole.
Row 3 will be the 54 of Rex Hoyle and the 36 of Mark Royal.
And rounding out this heat, the 51 of Justin Fuller and the 18 of AJ Hamill.
Drivers all nice and pretty in that side-by-side formation. And all I can remember is when I got to run this super late model in a Racing for a Cause league, which a lot of these drivers here know Racing for a Cause, and are also a part of. It was a lot of fun getting to learn that car, but it did not drive anything like the pavement cars that I was used to. And you can see who is really able to get the most out of it early on. I'll tell you what, these drivers are going to figure it out pretty quick, because once you do, it's a pretty easy car to drive and a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, you can kind of sum it up as a late model with a bit more power, but that doesn't quite do it service. You do have to drive the car just a little bit differently, and we're kind of seeing which drivers that are going to adapt to that, which drivers that have been in this league a while that are going to adapt to that. Maybe some of those regular super late guys that have just joined this league might be able to kind of show them a thing or two.
All right, lights are out on the pace car field, working its way off of turn number 4. The pace car down and away. Heat race number 4 getting ready to start as the green flag is out, and we are underway once again. And the drivers all get on the throttle. The 34 machine of Ty Cole with a little bit of a delayed start there. That's going to cost him a lot of space on the track.
Yeah, he did not have a great start, and now he's dropping way down the field, and now he's might even be challenged to get thrown into last place. So he was starting in 4th and now almost in last. Look at the one of Jeremy Carpenter. He's going to make a move on Ron Piles. He doesn't want to let Dylan Canova run away, and he kind of also wants to move himself ahead of that 4th place. There's a big battle for that 4th transfer spot right now. The back half of this field is all just stacked up here.
And the 68 of Ron Piles in the outside lane, not working too well for him. The 34 machine of Ty Cole looks like he's having a hard time trying to keep that thing straight through the corner. Looked like maybe a touch of contact as he has gotten into the outside wall. The 34 machine has now dropped to 7th place, but one driver who is not bothered by any of this, that is the 70 of Dylan Canova. Right now he is out front and pulling away.
Yeah, Canova has absolutely taken off, but looking at this transfer spot, a bit of a mistake from Ron Piles is going to move him down a few spots, and that's going to allow Rex Hoyle to get around him as well as AJ Hamill. And Hoyle's now going to hold on to that last transfer spot. Hamill kind of looking at the inside there, coming off the corner, and kind of just sizing up Rex at this moment, trying to see where he can maybe find a spot. And Hoyle just trying to put the hammer down, trying to open up a bit of a gap. Fuller and Carpenter just in front of them are kind of having themselves a little battle, but not going too aggressively. They both know that they're in a transfer spot, and looks like Hamill's starting to close that gap just a little bit.
AJ Hamill and the 18 machine trying to get a run up off the bottom of the corner, but Rex Hoyle just too good off the exit for now. That is a battle for the final transfer spot. Everyone behind Hoyle in that 54 machine will have to go to the LCQs, and AJ Hamill looks like he doesn't want any part of that. He is getting to that back bumper, and he is trying to wear it out.
Yeah, he definitely does not want to be in the LCQ and kind of forced to race his way into this race. He's pushing hard to get onto the bumper of Rex Hoyle. We're now on to lap 7, so he does not have much time. And I don't remember off the top of my head how many drivers we are going to take from the LCQ. I think it might be 6 for this week, because we don't have the provisionals in place because it is the first week of the season. So there is a few drivers coming in from the Constellation, but I'm sure you don't want to be in that situation if you can avoid it.
With 3 laps to go, 4 spots on the line. Dylan Canova, your race leader. Justin Fuller trying to close the gap to that 70 machine. 2 laps to go. AJ Hamill also closing in on Rex Hoyle. Hamill making a move down to the inside. Hoyle on the outside. Going to be a battle up off the exit.
Yeah, Hoyle did not have a good exit from turn 4, and that just kind of allowed AJ to start this attack here, but Hoyle's not going down without a fight. He had a good corner there for turns 1 and 2 and was able to exit really well. Now coming off a 4, not making the same mistake as last time. Rex Hoyle getting a fantastic launch off that corner, and he's going to clear the 18.
Rex Hoyle holding on to that final transfer spot. Dylan Canova still in the race lead. Justin Fuller trying to make a move to the inside for the win of the heat race. As our final lap, fueled by Verge, comes off at turn number 4. Canova going to hold on to it. Fuller in second, third place. Jeremy Carpenter, Rex Hoyle in 4th. 5th going to AJ Hamill, Ty Cole 6th. And now we get ready for our next heat race before I could get through the finishing order. Happens quick.
Yeah, the last couple drivers tailing off that last heat with Mark Royer and Ron Pyle, so those guys will be in the LCQ. So their night isn't quite done yet, but Rex Hoyle doing some great racing to hold off Hamill and just hold on to that last transfer spot.
Time to go through our starting lineup for the event. Row number 1 will be John Ouellette and Matt McLean.
Second row is going to be AJ Rogers and the 98 of Chris Stump.
Row 3 will be Cody McCauley and Brett Rolls in the 7.
And looks like the last row, since this is the last heat race, we're not going to have 8, only going to have 7, and by himself on that final row is the 24 of Brandon Otto. And Otto had one of the fastest practice times, so I'd watch for him to be charging up through the field. He's also one of the old champions of this league. I think he was the season 3 or 4 champion from way back in the day, and now he's returned to the league after being off for a couple years. And he's already just been lighting up the score chart here with the fantastic lap times.
We get ready to kick off our final heat race of the night. Don't forget, guys, to give this broadcast a thumbs up. It really lets the drivers know you appreciate the show that they are putting on for you. 4 drivers going to transfer from this heat race into the main event. Everyone else going to the LCQ. So this night is far from over. A lot of racing action still to go. And the drivers for heat race number 5, they all look ready to go. Lights are out on the pace car. And Kelly, why don't you take this one away?
Yeah, cars are stacked up, getting themselves nice and tight, ready for this heat race. Pace car down and away, and is now in the hands of John Ouellette. Waiting for the green flag. Green flag drops, and let's see who can get a good start. Everyone kind of keeping a bit of an even pace. Look at the 17, though. He's getting a great start right on the bumper. The 8 almost pushing that car into the first turn. Now look at the 88. Took a really high entry into turn 1 and came flying off of the exit of turn 2, and he's got himself a great jump. And now battling for that transfer position, almost going 3 wide. There's the 98 on the high side. The 17's trying to go through the middle. He's still the one holding on to that. Look at the 98 diving all the way down the racetrack.
These cars scattering all over the racetrack, using every bit of it to make something happen. The 62 of Cody McCauley on the inside of the 8 machine of John Ouellette. And now they're going to go 3 wide as the 98 of Chris Stump right on the bottom. Stump trying to make it into this event without going through the LCQ. He holds on to the final transfer spot, but AJ Rogers working that high line, trying to make something happen.
Yeah, keep an eye on that 98 the whole season long. He was a runner-up in the championship 2 years ago. Last year, I think he was 3rd place, and I think he's done with being second fiddle. Oh, the 88 in the wall. 88 was way high off of turn number 4. Just got into the wall, went from 1st place now all the way towards the back of the field. Is big problems for Matt McLean.
And McLean went from leading this thing to out of making it into the main event. Now he's got to go through the LCQ, but still got 6 laps to go here. Plenty of time to get that 88 back into the final transfer spot.
Yeah, final transfer spot now being held onto by AJ Rogers. Brandon Otto, his kind of first challenger here. Looks like Otto is almost struggling a little bit. He was fast in practice, but can't quite find that speed at the moment. So he's got to figure it out soon, because these heat races aren't very long. As the 17 now making a move on John Ouellette. So Rogers now down to the bottom. He's going to maybe get the position. The 88 is going to have a good exit off the corner, but that battle allowed the 24 to kind of catch up here. So now these guys are battling for position, but they've also got to worry about that 24 taking away that final transfer spot.
The 24 thinking about making it 3 wide. Not there just yet, as the 88 of McLean in trouble. He is fishtailing like crazy down the front stretch. Gathers it back in, but a big hold your breath
he's
moment.
Still loose.
as he needs to let those rear tires settle in a little bit, it looks like. Finally gets it under control, but he has lost a lot of ground.
Yeah, that was almost the world's longest spin. He had trouble off of turn 4 again, getting tight, getting into the wall, and then struggled to regain control of that car until after turn 2. Now, battling for that final transfer spot, Brandon Otto and AJ Rogers were door to door going into turn number 1. AJ ending up taking that position, but Otto is not done. He's going to dive to the inside of that 17, taking away the line that the 17 looked like he wanted, but 17 still getting a good exit off that corner, so Rogers getting a great jump and still holding on to that final transfer spot.
2 more laps to go. Rogers in the final transfer spot. The 24 of Otto wanting it, but losing ground. Meanwhile, one driver not too worried about it. That is the 62 of Cody McCauley. He is going to get the white flag here at Iowa as we got 1 to go, fueled by Verge. The 98 of Chris Stump trying to close the gap on him, but Stump looks like maybe that is a bit too much to make up for 1 lap. Chris Stump, though, gonna send it down to the bottom and really try and make a run for it, but not able to do it. Cody McCauley, though, does spin the tires coming up off the corner. He is gonna be your heat race number 5 winner.
A bit of a bump and run almost in the back of the field as Otto was trying to move Rogers out of the way, but Rogers held himself firm and was able to hold on to that race car and able to get the final transfer spot. So transferring from that race, I'm actually having a bit of an issue with iRacing is no longer actually showing the race results. So that is going to kind of move us along. They're just kind of forcing us to move along to the LCQ here. So this consolation race is going to have 19 drivers, and I think only 6 of them move on to the feature.
30 cars planned to start here. 5 heat races at 4 drivers apiece. So I believe 10.
I think Al did just say it over the radio, but I was actually missed it there. So.
All right, time to go through our starting lineup, brought to you by Beth's Colorful Creations. Mike Alexander, Brett Bartels make up row number 1.
Row number 2, the 45 Doug Wysocki and the 18 of AJ Hamill.
Row 3 will be the 24 of Brandon Otto and the 90 of Matt Roll.
Looks like Al Smith just coming over the radio. He is going to be starting in 7th alongside Matt Holtzclaw, but I think he just said 9 cars going to be racing in.
Row number 5 will be Ty Cole and Brett Rolls in the 7.
Rich French is going to be rolling off in 11th, and Brian Rogers Jr. starting in 12th.
AJ Childs and Mark Royer make up row number 7.
Row number 8 is going to be the 88 of Matt McLean on the inside, and to his outside, the 19 of Brian Jones.
Jeremy Watkins in the 71 and Wayne McDuff are going to make up row number 9.
And rounding out this LCQ field all alone on the tail end of the field, that starting in 19th place is Ron Piles.
Lights go out on the pace car. We get ready to go racing here in the LCQ. Drivers pacing around, trying to make something happen. And Kelly, how many drivers are we going to look for to transfer in here, and how many of them are going to try and make that move as early as possible?
Al did say over the radio, I think he said 9, but normally they're trying to get, the aim is for 26, but green flag is in the air. We're rolling for this LCQ. Mike Alexander going to be taking the lead, and he's getting a great jump there. Oh, wreck in the middle of the field.
Already got an issue with some cars and the yellow flag coming out. Jeremy Watkins in the 71 caught up in this one, along with, I believe, the 45 of Doug Wysocki. Go to our turn 3 instant replay. We can figure out what happened here.
71 dodged it.
Stack up at the start. Maybe the 71 was able to get on his brakes and avoid it all. Yes, it was the 45 of Doug Wysocki who was the one who was turned around the wrong way. Take one more look here. Doug Wysocki from the front gets into the corner, gets bumped by the 24, and then everyone stacks up behind him. But somehow Doug spins and everyone avoids him.
Yeah, they're gonna give that penalty to the 24 machine of Brandon Otto. So Otto gonna move all the way to the back of the field, and he's now gonna have to kind of calm himself down and work his way through the field. The LCQ is a little bit longer than the heat races. It is double length, so 20 laps. They've got a bit more time, but 20 laps here at Iowa, they go by quickly.
Mike Alexander in the 75 right now in the transfer spot. Brett Bartels behind him in second, looking to transfer in as well. AJ Hamill, Matt Roll, and Al Smith pick up the rest of your top 5. Kelly, this is I'm kind of glad I'm up in the booth tonight. I don't know if I can handle the stress of all this.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not on the track. You would not want to see me on the track. It'd be pretty ugly. There's a reason I'm up here, but it's definitely a great spot to watch these races. These guys are very, very hectic, but very controlled. So, very close racing, very exciting racing, and usually pretty clean. So, the 45 did get spun there, but it wasn't really an intentional move by Otto. It was a bit of a kind of just a stack up of the start there, and I think actually the 45 is kind of in a good shape after that. I don't think he took much damage from, if any, from that spin.
Yeah, a little bit of contact in his quarter panel on the 24. Bit of a stack up. Looked like maybe the 96 Al Smith got into him, as Al does have a bent fender on the front. But other than that, no hard contact with the wall or anyone else. So both the 96 and the 45 may be able to get away with that issue without being affected.
I think Al got into the rear of Otto during that. I think that was where that damage came from. Because I think he was able to avoid the 45, but Otto slammed on his brakes from kind of causing that incident and kind of caught Al off guard, and Al got into him. But hopefully all these cars are still okay to keep running.
Lights go out on the pace car. We get ready to go racing once again as the field works its way down the backstretch. Green flag coming out with 15 laps to go here in the LCQ. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if I'd want to be one of these drivers at the front, maybe one of the drivers at the back. This LCQ has the feel that maybe a bit of desperation, which is due because everyone wants to make the main event here tonight. As a green flag comes out with 15 laps to go, Mike Alexander with a great start. The 18 machine of AJ Hamill down to the inside of Brett Bartels.
The acceleration on, another caution, another spin, which is, that sounded like a bit more into the back of the field. Looks like the 68 might have been caught up as well as the 45, and that might have been the 24 again.
Let's go to our turn instant replay. We can figure out what happened once again. Brandon Otto in the 24, Doug Wysocki in the 45. They head off into turn number 1. Ryan Piles gets turned by the 24. Doug Wysocki gets into him. And yeah, that was a 3-car stack up going into turn 1 once again.
Yeah, it just looks like the 24 didn't expect Piles to kind of check up that much going into the corner, and just didn't realize that Piles was going to slow up that much and didn't have the time to react, and ended up just kind of shooting underneath him and slamming into the side of him. The restarts have been changed to single file for this next restart. That is one of the rules here, is if they can't complete a lap on a restart, they will do the next restart in single file. So expect Mike Alexander to get another fantastic jump, because in the restarts, he has control of the start as long as he is in the restart zone, which is actually clearly marked on this racetrack for once. And so take a look as they come around this time. You can take a look to the inside on the apron. You will see 2 lines on the racetrack, and that is kind of their restart zone. In that zone, Mike Alexander can launch at any point that he wants, and as we saw in that last restart, these cars have some acceleration. He absolutely rocketed off of that restart.
A lot of horsepower in these cars, and they make pretty decent downforce, so you're able to carry a lot of that speed into the corner. But that looks like something that has caught Brandon Otto out twice here tonight. Not able to react in time to the speed difference as the driver checks up a little bit more than was able to.
Yeah, so taking a look at the kind of heat race rules, I believe we're actually only going to take 26 drivers. If we're going off the rules, it's only going to be 26. The unfortunate thing with the way this is being run is it's not normally in iRacing. It'll show you how many drivers are being taken, but because we normally take a provisional, like 2 drivers that are will be taken just based off points that did not qualify. We have it just shows that all the drivers are going to make it. So we're not able to tell right off the top of our heads. I believe though it is only 6 cars. Normally it'll be only 4 cars with 2 provisionals based on championship points, but because this is the first race of the season, I believe they're only taking 6. They're taking 6 from this race. So right now, if that is the case, Ty Cole is holding on to the final transfer spot in 6th place.
So if we go off of that little tidbit, and thank you very much for adding that to our knowledge base tonight, Kelly. Ty Cole in the 34's got the coveted spot. Mike Holtzclaw in the 22 might be trying to steal it away from him on this restart.
Yeah, we'll have to watch these guys can't make a move before the start finish line, but watch for Holtzclaw to maybe kind of make a move coming into 1 here. So if he'll know that he's kind of on the outside looking in, so expect him to be a bit more aggressive, especially if Ty Cole doesn't get a great start. So this restart is going to be very important for that 34 machine.
Field not really bunched up here. Everyone now trying to get bunched up. And the 75 of Mike Alexander sees the green flag, and he is down and away. The 18 of AJ Hamill trying to close the gap to him as Alexander got a good restart once again.
Yeah, it looks like Holtzclaw did try to go to the inside. Oh, we got another car sideways in the back of the field. That looked like it might have been. That is going to be a bring out of caution. I'm trying to see who that was.
The 91 of Rich French.
Yeah, it looks like the Rich French is going to have will have gone around there. So we'll have to see what happened to that car. If that was more contact, I think that might have been a self spin actually.
91 of Rich French going around here in our LCQ. Touches the apron and does go around, tries to save it, and it looked like someone else went around with him. I believe that was the 41 of AJ Childs, also got loose coming up off the corner, but he was able to keep it sorted of sorts. Yes. Wow, good play, good choice of words, KR.
Yeah, so Rich French is now going to drop to the back. I mean, I don't think they're going to have to black flag him. He's already going to be in the back of the field from that spin, but we're still going to remain single file. I don't know if we've had actually a full green lap yet. These guys have been a little bit racy in this LCQ and just kind of pushing it a little too hard, and I think that's just a case of, you know, these guys know that they have to be in the top 6. It can't be like later on in the season where, you know, those guys that have a lot of championship points, they can kind of coast back a little bit and they'll get that provisional. These guys all know that they have to race their way into this race, so they're pushing hard because they want a good start to this season.
Yeah, everyone's trying really hard out here tonight. I don't blame them, but it is made for all of our laps on the LCQ under yellow, and these drivers not really enjoying that for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure these guys would want to be racing. I mean, we're over halfway through this LCQ, especially the guys in the back. The guys in the back are wanting this to go green so they can make up some positions. Guys in the top 6 that are going into this race, I'm sure they don't care. They would love to see us continue under caution. Mike Alexander, I'm sure he'd love to just coast his way to win this LCQ. But those guys that are sitting below 6th place, they want some green flag laps because they've got to get themselves into this race.
Field working its way behind the pace car, trying to their butterflies in check is really hard to do when you never really get a chance to work them out.
And this also kind of gives us our first glimpse at full field racing. I mean, it is a lot more hectic than just having 8 cars out there. Things are going to stack up, and we might see that in the feature a little bit. So hopefully, though, these guys will calm themselves down a little bit. I think this is just a case of being excited for the first race. Everyone is looking for that momentum off the first race, a good points finish off of the first race so they can kind of carry on through at the length of the regular season. But everyone has to kind of calm down. Lights are out on the pace car, though. I believe for next time, by our lights are going to be coming out.
Yeah, lights should go out next time around. The 75 of Mike Alexander. Well, he's led every lap of this thing so far.
It looks like lights are still on in the pace car, actually. We're going to be going another 2 laps at least.
So the field really trying to keep their tires warmed up, has had a lot of caution laps here. Brett Bartel's trying to wiggle it back and forth, keeping that tire warm. That is going to be an important factor to have that rear grip when the green flag does come out. You don't want to spin the tires, find yourself in trouble by just trying to get up through the gearbox.
Yeah, he is going to have to be careful and not spin those tires, but I think those tires are going to be pretty fresh and pretty cold. I think he's going to have a large amount of grip, though I think his main focus is going to be hitting those shifts properly. You know, you kind of jam the stick on one of those shifts, or just it doesn't quite go into gear. Yeah, you might have a bit of an issue. That will kill your momentum, absolutely, without a doubt.
All right, with the lights out on the pace car, we're going to try this again with 4 laps to go when the green flag drops. Field working its way through 3 and 4. Pace car getting ready to make the left-hand turn for pit road. Down it goes. The 75 of Alexander picks up the throttle at the last second, and we are back to green flag racing as the field works for turn 1. Alexander with a wonderful start once again.
An absolutely great start for Alexander. He's rolling off from this field, looking out throughout the rest of the field. Everyone's kind of spread themselves out a little bit. 88, though, is battling side by side to that 36 of Royer, and he's going to get around him.
That roll in the 90, trying to put the pressure on the 34.
Big slide from the 12. Brian Rogers and I believe that was the
3 wide contact, the 41 in the wall, the 12 look like they are going to go nose to nose down the backstretch, and the yellow flag going to come out once again as Brian Rogers finds some trouble on the backstretch.
And Rich French was spinning as well as he tried to get through that. Rogers was already in a bit of an incident before that as he got into, I believe that was the 2, or no, sorry, not the 2. That's the 7 of Brett Rolls. Looking at these numbers upside down here, they got into each other through turn 1, and that lost a lot of momentum for the 12, and that kind of is what put him into this 3 wide position because the 7 also checked up, and it has just checked up the whole field.
So once again, we go under caution, but this race will not see the green flag come out any more here as this race is going to wrap it up with one lap to go. White and yellow flags being displayed. Final lap here in this LCQ.
Yeah, so we are going to finish this LCQ under caution, I believe. So that will kind of lock in our field at this moment, and we're still trying to discuss how this is actually working for the first race of the season. It is a bit of a special case. Normally it'll be only 4 drivers with 2 drivers taken off of championship points, unless it is a past champion that did not qualify. Then only 1 driver will be taken off championship points, and then that past champion will take the last provisional spot. But with tonight, since there's no championship points, the first race of the season, I think it's running a little bit differently.
Yeah, a little
Everyone
bit
from 10th on up. I'll just announce it over the radio. Everyone in the top 10 is moving on. So I believe that means, yeah, Mark Royer and up. Mark Royer is in that final transfer spot. I was just listening to Al over the radio. Mark Royer is in the transfer spot. The guys in 11th and 12th are being held as a kind of a provisional, just in, or not really a provisional, but a put on standby just in case someone from the top 10 does not come into the feature. But for now, our grid is set. We'll be getting ready to see what these guys can do, but they will have a short warm-up session.
And with that being said, guys, we're going to step away for a moment, and we'll be right back after this.
I remember what it was like to have nothing, to wonder when my next meal would be. A lot has changed since then, but no matter what my accomplishments, I always remember where I came from. Jinky and I have always felt like it was our duty and have done our best to give back. But we want to do even more. We want to build more homes, build hospitals, provide scholarship, and expand our efforts into other countries. We don't want to just give people money. We want to give them a better life. That is why we're recruiting you to come alongside and change lives, one investment at a time. There is strength in numbers, and we can do so much more with your help. Think about the difference we can make if everyone does something. Join us as we strive to fight for those less fortunate and spread hope around the world. Thank you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Drivers working through the warm-up session, and that means it is time to get ready for the Fueled by Verge 109 here at Iowa. But before we do, as we like to do here at Turn 3 Racing Network, we have our national anthems to get through, both America and Canada.
broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as the drivers have started to take to the grid for the Fueled by Verge 109 here at Iowa, and that means it's time to go through our starting lineup, brought to you by Best Colorful Creations, the 39 machine of Bill Martin starting on the pole, and on his outside, the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre. Row 2 will be Justin McDuff and Dylan Canova. Row 3 will be Cody McCauley and Brian Hacker. Row 4 will be Matthew Barkhouse and Joe Schaefer. Row 5, Justin Fuller and Chris Stump.
Rolling off in 11th, that'll be Steph Marinac, and to his outside, Scott Austin. Row number 7 is going to be Bill Bessler, Jeremy Carpenter. Row 8, we see the 8 of John Ouellette and the 72 of Andy Lambert. Row 9, Tim Hale in the double odd, and Guillaume Fortin in the 13. Rounding out our top 20, that's going to be the 54 of Rex Hoyle and the 17 of AJ Rogers.
Row 11, Mike Alexander and AJ Hamill. Row 12, Brett Bartels and Al Smith Jr. in the 96. Row 13, Ty Cole and Matt Roll in the 90. Row 14, Mike Holtzclaw and Brett Rolls. Row 15 will be Matt McLean and Mark Royer.
Everyone getting ready for this very first race of the season. This very first race, as well as this entire season, is brought to you by Verge Currency. Verge is a cryptocurrency designed for people and for everyday use. It improves upon the original Bitcoin blockchain and aims to fulfill its initial purpose of providing individuals and businesses with a fast, efficient, and decentralized way of making direct transactions while maintaining your privacy.
Green flag getting ready to come out for our main event here tonight. The 31 on the inside holds the field in check, but the green flag flies and we are back underway here at Iowa. Drivers now up to speed and everyone trying to get through turn 1 in a hurry. 3 wide for second place. McDuff in the middle. And everyone's gonna get through that one just fine, but man, that was a hold your breath moment.
Yeah, Jimmy McIntyre, yeah, that was also...
Oh,
contact
the
in
70.
back, Dylan Canova.
Dylan Canova
Big
finding
wreck.
trouble. A lot of cars in trouble here early. The 6 machine getting involved as well. Joe Schaefer Jr., a rookie here with the Upstate Racing League. And trouble finds its way here as we head off into turn 1 on lap 2. Let's go to our turn 3 instant replay and see what happened. Canova tried to come down. The 15 machine of Matthew Barkhouse was right there, and then Calamity behind him.
Yeah, a bit of a stack up as well. The 16 gets into the, I think, 51 is, and from there it just creates a huge roadblock, and there's just nowhere for those cars in the back half of the field to go as the whole track just kind of gets blocked off by cars that are sideways. It looks like at least 5, maybe 6 cars involved in that.
Matthew Barkhouse in the 15 got into back of the 70 for that one. But an early caution here for the Fueled by Verge 109 at Iowa. The field slows once again.
So all the field now getting back into position. There was some great racing there before that that caution happened. Looked like we had the 3 wide between McCauley, McIntyre, and McDuff, and it looked like McDuff he kind of lost out on that middle line, but it looked like he was going to go to that bottom once again, trying to make it 3 wide once more right before that caution came out. So really keep your eyes on this front half of the field because these guys are going to be pushing at like extremely hard. And just outside of that, though, is Steph Marinac, and I was kind of talking about him earlier before we got cut off by a caution during his heat race, but Marinac was a runner-up 2 seasons ago. I think he came 3rd place last season, so he's kind of just been on the outside of these, just barely missing these championships, having the championship just barely out of his grasp, but he's always been a contender, so I'd watch for that too of Marinac to really push hard to go for this championship this season.
With this caution flag flying, it will give me a chance to say, hey, had a little bit of an internet issue right there. Hopefully it'll settle down. Sorry guys, do my best to bring you all this racing action. Some things are outside of my control. Hopefully the internet levels out for everyone. We can enjoy some great racing here at Iowa. And with that being said, Kelly, our first caution coming out on lap 2, but the drivers have a lot of time left to go in this race. Who do you expect to see moving from the back of the field up to the front throughout this entire event?
Looking more towards the back of the field, I would look at Brandon Otto. He's fast, he was fast in practice, but he was very aggressive in the LCQ. If he's kind of learned from that experience, I'd expect to see that car moving up the field very quickly. If we're looking out throughout the rest of this field, I could see Guillaume Fortin moving up a few spots, Chris Stump, Steph Marinac. It's really actually hard to say because this field is so stacked this season. There's so many good drivers now that it's really hard to say who's going to be able to advance through the field because each driver is just so skilled. It's hard to say like, oh, this guy's amazing. He's going to make it. He's going to just pass everyone left, right, and center. But if the guys he's passing are also extremely skilled drivers, it's kind of hard to say.
Well, with the lights on the pace car, the 39 of Bill Martin getting the lead. Some early laps here, uncontested. And I'll tell you what, there was a big battle for 2nd place, 3rd place, 4th place. Wonder if we'll see that again as these drivers take the green flag.
Going back to Marinac, I quickly opened up his kind of info here, and it's I think it's even kind of worse. As 2016 he finished 4th, 2017 he finished 2nd, 2018 he finished 3rd. So all 3 of his kind of contender years, he's always just been up towards the front and been a title contender, but just hasn't gotten that win, the series win. And he's gotten a lot of race wins. He's got 9 in his career, but he just can't quite win the championship. So I'd expect to see the 2 throughout the whole season pushing hard to finally get his championship. So I'd keep an eye on that car. Chris Stump is a guy that came in last year though, and he I think came 2nd in the season, and he was also a very extremely skilled driver. So these guys are going to put on a real heck of a show the course of this whole year.
Lights out on the pace car, field stacking up, double file. Bill Martin, Cody McCauley making up row 1 for this restart, and the green flag gonna come out as the 39 gets a good jump on that start.
Yeah, fantastic jump for him. Just behind him, though, Cody McCauley now going to have to go on the defensive as he's got the 81 of McIntyre and McDuff in that 20 machine all over him. And Now looks like Brian Hacker's going to kind of get himself involved here. He's kind of creeping up on the inside of the 18. And at the same time, though, that 2 of Marinac making some moves on the outside. He wants to go towards the front of this field, but while these guys are all battling for position, Martin actually kind of got a little bit reeled in. He had a great jump that gave him 0.4 of a second before the line. Now it's down to 0.3 as Macaulay kind of had a pretty good lap there.
On aboard with the 2 of Steph Marinac as he is following to the inside of the 81, trying to get a run up off the corner, closing in little by little, trying to make the pass on the Zumongo, driven by Jimmy McIntyre.
Yeah, McIntyre running some very smooth laps so far, and that's always something you want to see, especially early on. As I've mentioned, these guys only get the 1 set of tires, and this is a very long race, 109 laps, so you have got to make these tires last. You've got to be careful with them, because you can push hard early on, but then when the end of the race comes along, you might not have any grip underneath you. As there's a bit of a checkup from that 81 there. That's going to allow that 2 car to get right on the bumper, so watch for Marinac to kind of look for an opening to make his move.
Cody McCauley in the 62 right now, sitting in second place, but McCauley has been running on the higher lane so far, maybe trying to roll his car a little bit better and save some tire. Bill Martin in the 39 has been right on that yellow line through each corner.
Yeah, and you'll see these guys just kind of searching around the racetrack for grip. We've got the dynamic surface in iRacing now, and it really plays a difference in short track racing, because if everyone's running that inside line's going to get very warm, and it's not going to have as much grip. So then you'll want to go to the outside where there's a bit cooler racetrack, and it'll be a bit easier on your tires.
Bartels goes for a spin off of turn number 2. The 42 finding some trouble here. Looks like a single car event though. Brett not making contact with anything, gets it sorted, grabs a gear, gets rolling.
Yeah, it looks to be the same thing that we kind of saw in that LCQ with one of the, I think it was French. I think it might have been Rich French right at the end of the LCQ. Is kind of just a little bit too low through turns 1 and 2. Kind of clips that yellow line. As soon as you do that, it's gonna just throw the car out of balance, and he tries his best to save it and eventually goes for a spin. But gotta give a bit of a shout out to the I believe it's the number 6 there that avoided him. Yeah, it was the 6 of Joe Schaefer. When the 42 slides, gets right up in front of him, and I think, actually, I don't know if it doesn't. Maybe looks like he didn't quite slow up enough. It looks like he may have caught him, but definitely could have been a harder hit than kind of ended up with. It does look like he's got. But actually, I don't think he does have any damage. So if there was contact, it was very light. So some great reactions from the 6 to just jam on the brakes there as the 42 came up in front of him.
To the field behind the pace car in, slowed down by a single car spin of Brett Bartels.
A couple cars coming to pit road on during the caution, I guess, to get a little bit of fuel, and for some of them that were maybe caught up in the earlier accidents to maybe hammer out some of that damage. I believe these guys might not be able to go all the way through on a single tank like they were able to in back when we ran the limited leads.
Comment from YouTube from Night Shadow. Seems to be on point for tonight since the LCQ was nothing but cautions. The pace car gonna run out of fuel tonight. Don't worry, it's an electric vehicle. If it runs out of fuel, we'll just bring a diesel generator to help charge it.
Yeah, hopefully we don't kill the pace car out tonight. These guys do normally run green to green or green to checkered on a single run, so tonight is a bit of an outlier, and I think, as I mentioned earlier, it's a bit of the whole first race jitters kind of thing. Everyone's kind of really antsy, trying to get as good of a finish as they can to start the season. And there's also the fact that we've got a lot of cars on this racetrack right now. There are 30 cars. Normally throughout the season we're going to be running 26, but for the season opener we've got a packed house here tonight, so there's a lot of cars trying to take up not that much space on the track.
Well, since we were a little rushed all night long, I forgot to do this, but tonight's race is the Fueled by Verge 109. Make sure you check out vergecurrency.com. And Kelly, I believe you know a little bit more about Verge than I do.
Yeah, Verge Currency is a cryptocurrency designed for people and for everyday use. It improves upon the original Bitcoin blockchain and aims to fulfill its initial purpose of providing individuals and businesses with a fast, efficient, and decentralized way of making direct transactions while maintaining your privacy.
So this Fueled by Verge 109 at Iowa, once again slowed by the pace car. And you mentioned that these drivers typically run very clean races, and I gotta think that the reason why everyone's having a hard time here tonight is because this is the first time we're running the super late model with the Upstate Racing League.
In terms of the Pro Series, yes, because I believe they did run the super late for the Approval Series. So for a lot of these guys, it isn't their first kind of foray with this car, but it is kind of the first race in the full season, because the Approval Series is not based off points. They do keep track of points, but it's more to show that you could drive safely and drive cleanly to get yourself into the league. So not everyone's pushing it. Now we're racing for points. We've got points, we've got trophies, we got money on the line. So these guys are now pushing hard because this is just the start of a whole season.
All right, lights have gone out on the pace car field, working through 3 and 4 right now. Time to get those tires clean, get the field bunched up. We get ready to go. Green flag racing. Lap 18 going to be put in the books. Lap 19 will be green flag, and the 39 once again not giving any time to the pace car to clear off. He gets on the throttle early and gets a huge jump.
And look at that 20 of McDuff also getting a great start. He's going to get right up to the side of McCauley, but McCauley getting a good exit off of turn number 2. That's going to allow him to take the position. Just behind them, though, Marinac making a few more moves. He's now looking to the inside of the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre, and he's pushing hard for that spot. But at the same time, he's got the 8 of Roulette kind of all alongside him, so we're kind of seeing two lines kind of form here. Oh, bit of a mistake from the 81. He's going to slow up. The 8 trying to look for a way through, but can't quite get in there 3 wide, so he can't quite capitalize on that mistake. Nearly getting into the 13 as well, so the 8 is looking for it. Oh, he gets into the 81.
The 81 around, the 8 in trouble. He's going to tag a few more cars, and now the 24 of Otto is going to hit the 8 machine, and we go back under yellow as the field come off of turn number 4, and trouble found a lot of drivers once again. And we're going to go to our turn 3 instant replay high atop on the blimp camera brought to us by Austin Designs. You see the 8 come up the track, tag the 81. The 81 climbs the wall, and then everyone trying to find ways to get through. The 13 machine of Guillaume getting involved as well. Gonna ride on board the nose cam. See the 8 get tagged, or I should say the 13 get tagged by the 8 as he came down the track, and everyone draws to a slow once again.
Yeah, I think that was just kind of the 8 getting a little bit flustered. There was a lot of things happening on that lap between that pack of 5 cars or so, as the 81 kind of slowed up and kind of allowed a few drivers to kind of make moves to position, and the 8 just kind of had the door slammed on him a few times. He got on the gas just maybe a little bit too early through 1 and 2 and stayed in it trying to get a position out of it, and ended up just kind of washing out the track all the way up into the 81. And then there, since we've been having these cautions, everyone's still so tightly packed up, and so doesn't allow a lot of guys to have the space to avoid these accidents.
All right, guys, with the field under yellow once again, we're going to take a moment to step away. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are here at Iowa, and the Turn 3 Racing Network is bringing you the Fueled by Verge 109. Field tucked in nice and safe behind the pace car. That pace car has seen a lot of action here early on. And Kelly, we were talking during that break about first race jitters and all that stuff. I know from my racing experience, making the first race of the season is not something I look forward to, because a lot of drivers do have those jitters. Maybe don't have the car underneath them the way that they will maybe in races 3, 4, and throughout the rest of the season.
It's a bit that, and it's also you're feeling the other guys out. Some of these guys are new to the league. They don't know how everyone else races, and everyone else doesn't know how these guys race. And we do have a very large rookie class this season, so there's about kind of half the field that just doesn't know how the other half races. And I think that's kind of what's contributing to some of these wrecks.
Well, the lights have gone out on the pace car. That means it's time to get back to green flag racing. Cody McCauley and Bill Martin going to be making up row number 1 for this restart, with Martin the control car. Row 2 will be the 20 of McDuff and the 2 of Steph Marinak. And again, Martin on the throttle early on that 39 and gets a good jump.
Yeah, great drop from Martin, or great jump from Martin, and at the same time, McCauley defending hard to keep himself in position. Look at Steph Marinak. He started in 11th. He's already put his way up to 3rd, and he's now battling with McDuff. This is going to be a great battle. Both of these guys are some fantastic drivers. They've been racing with each other for a while, so watch for these guys to put on a good show as they kind of go to battle here. McDuff kind of took a look on the inside that last corner, didn't quite have anything there, and looks like he might get a decent run off of this corner, and he might have had to lift a little bit around getting up close to the wall, so he had to kind of slow up there. But he's still close to Marinak, and they're also kind of starting to reel in McCauley, it looks like.
Meanwhile, in the middle of this field, Ty Cole in the 34 machine, a rookie here, a Brian Rogers Motorsports Rookie of the Year contender. The 34 machine right now finding himself in 13th place. He has got a lot of cars around him. He made some good moves on that restart, and now is on the back bumper of the 51 of Justin Fuller.
Yeah, some good battles throughout the entire field. Brian Hacker is well in a good battle with Andy Lambert, AJ Rogers. You guys are all kind of looking for a gap. Looks like the 11 kind of was going to go for the high side, but had the door slammed shut on him by Lambert. He took away that high line down the back straightaway, so everyone seems to have maybe calmed down a little bit, realizing that this is a bit longer than a race in the heat, so they can kind of take their time with these moves and not have to force the issue. Now taking a look at the 17, taking a peek on the high side of Hacker. At the same time, we got the boss man himself, Al Smith, kind of tagging along in this battle, looking for his opening.
Al Smith in that 96 Fueled by Verge machine up off of turn number 4 and in the tire tracks of the 17 of Rogers, as everyone trying to log some laps right now. Like you said, everyone trying to feel each other out. Maybe they've realized they got quite a few laps to go. Don't have to pass every car on the opening lap.
Yeah, it's 109 laps. They have a lot of time. They don't need to push hard, and people are starting to realize that now, and we're going to get to see some racing. And looking back up towards the front, Bill Martin still leads, but Cody McCauley has closed that gap just a little bit. At the same time, caution is now out, so I think we should not have talked about cautions that much. We'll have to see where it is on the racetrack, though.
I do have the 42 of Brett Bartels and the 24 of Brandon Otto, who slowed down. We'll see if they slowed down to miss it. We go to our turn 3 instant replay here. Watching this big old stack of drivers going to turn number 1. I believe that's a 42 of Bartels going around. That he makes contact with the 15 machine. Give me just a minute of Matthew Barkhouse, a rookie. Trouble finding itself in turn 1. Barkhouse to the inside, does get into the 42 just enough to upset him. And around goes Bartels as they tried to get into turn 1.
Yeah, I think that might have just been maybe a driver not expecting the other driver to kind of slow up for that corner, or maybe just a poorly executed bump and run. I don't think, pretty sure it's not a bump and run. It may have just been a just kind of a misjudging of speed, but yeah, that does bring out another caution on the night.
So the 15 gonna come down pit road, work on some damage. The 75 on pit lane as well of Mike Alexander. No tires available for these guys, so if the car goes up, they will receive a DQ. So it is up to the drivers to make sure that they have all the right boxes checked when they hit pit lane. But again, we're back under yellow. As we look at our caution information here, this is our 4th caution of the night for 17 laps. We haven't had a lead change yet. The 39 machine of Bill Martin has just been getting outstanding starts each time that the green flag comes out, but Cody McCauley in the 62 has been trying to reel him in. Just hasn't had enough laps to do so yet.
Quick actually clarification on the tire penalty is if the driver admits that they made the mistake, it is 1 lap per side of the car that goes in the air. So if they didn't realize that their tires were checked, they came in and took all 4 tires, that would be 2 laps. If the driver doesn't say anything, but they find after the race that a driver had taken tires, it is 2 laps per side of the car. So if he just takes lefts, it's only going to be a 2-lap penalty. If he takes all 4 laps, he'll be placed down from his finishing position. So you definitely want to keep in mind if you come down pit road, double check those tires and make sure that that your black box isn't going to be checked and you aren't going to be taking anything.
Now that does pose an interesting strategy possibility. 2 tires might be worth a lap. What would you think on that? You think 2 tires would be worth a lap?
I don't think so, because of how hard it would be to try to make up a whole lap. I don't believe that taking 2 tires is a good call, because you'll have to try to find your way around the leader, then hope a caution will come out to kind of put you at the tail end. And by the time that all happens, I don't think you're really gonna put yourself in a good position by going a lap down to take tires. It's an interesting strategy to think about. I just don't think anyone here would be able to pull it off.
Well, now let me throw this at you. Are the first car 1 lap down, does it get the free pass?
Not that I can tell. I'll have to double check with Al, but I don't know if there's lucky dogs in effect here. I haven't seen anyone get called for the lucky dog and get waved around yet, and there has been cars a lap down, so I don't know for sure. Actually, right now we've only got 1 car that's a lap down, and they've backed out of the race, so we'll have to wait until we got 1 car a lap down, or if that doesn't happen tonight, maybe ask the admins, but I don't see it listed in the rulebook if there's a lucky dog in effect or not.
Very interesting, very interesting. A lot of information to be gathered here as we try to get through this first race. Good strategy question that was brought up there. That would be worthwhile, I think, if you have the free pass.
If you've got the free pass, it does kind of bring it in a bit more of an idea. You know, say you're at the tail end of the field anyways, maybe you just got spun and you're at the back anyways, you come down, take the tires, take the lap, and maybe hope for a caution. The pace car now down and away, and immediately Bill Martin is on the gas, so he doesn't waste any time getting those jumps, and we'll see if McCauley can hold off McDuff this time around, because McDuff making a hard charge to the inside through turn 1.
McDuff trying the inside of the 62 of McCauley, but nothing there just yet. Steph Marinac in the 2 machine in the tire tracks of McDuff, following him on that yellow line here at Iowa. And it looked like maybe the 62 smoked his tires coming up off the corner. That little bit of abuse is not something you want to see here before you even are at the halfway mark.
Yeah, you don't want to be abusing any part of this car early on in this race. And now watching McCauley and McDuff, they're still battling it out. McCauley's just kind of running that high line, saving his stuff, trying to be a bit easier on this car, I think. And it's been running pretty smooth. I don't think I've really heard much tire squeal from his car. And we got another caution on the racetrack.
A lot of cars going
AJ
around.
Hamel.
Who was 21's in the wall of Bill Bessler, I'm sorry, that again. But the 21 machine finding trouble here at Iowa.
I think that all started with the 18 though. 18, the double aught. Turn 1.
And it is the 18 machine's going to get turned, the 00 going around, and that is going to put Bill Bessler upside down and into the wall. We're going to take another look at this one.
Yeah, that was a big roll from Bessler. It looks like he went over twice there, and that's going to end his night. He's calling it there, and I think Tim Hale just claimed that penalty, so he'll be moving to the back of the field. So we'll have to see if the double aught will be able to come back from this.
We take one more look. We go on board with the 00 Tim Hale, and yes, he does get into the quarter panel of the 18 of AJ Hamel.
Taking a look at some of your biggest movers through the field, Al Smith is, I think we got 2 cars that have advanced 14 places, and that'll be Al Smith. Started 24th, now running in 10th. Brett Rolls started in 28th, now running in 14th. So a couple of big movers so far, and I'm sure these guys are going to want to continue moving towards the front of the field. As we're not even halfway through this race, and there's still opportunities for these guys to make up a few more positions.
So the caution flag coming out once again, and Kelly, let's pick a driver to talk to out there, see what their feelings are. Who you want to talk to?
Any one of these guys is probably a good choice, but I'd say let's pull out one of these guys that have been battling so much, and I'd say let's talk to the number 20 of McDuff.
All right, the 20 machine piloted by Justin McDuff, and Kelly, take it away.
Hey Justin, and we're talking to you here on Turn 3 Race Network. You got yours on?
Yeah, I got you. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. We've been watching this race. You've been having a couple of battles with a few of these guys, and what's kind of been the kind of on-track feel of this car so far?
I wish we get some more green flag laps. I think that if it stayed green, I'd have a shot here with McCauley and Martin. I seem to start to reel them in that one little run we had there, but other than that, it's just been kind of trying to maintain the restarts and get into a rhythm and just keep getting yellow after yellow. So I'm hoping it gets a green flag look here in the second half.
Yeah, and talking about these cautions, what do you think has been kind of causing all of these yellow flags that we've been having tonight?
I mean, it's the first night with a lot of guys racing with each other here in the Pro Series. Like, I know throughout the Approval Series we all race together and stuff, but it's just a lot of cars. I think we started 31 tonight, and people trying to be aggressive, and things just happen. It's part of racing. Hopefully we can get settled down here and get the rest of the show and put on a good show for the fans watching out there.
And hopefully we can get a bit more racing in here, but as this caution kind of ticks by, we're going to let you get back to focusing on the race and kind of get yourself back into that race mindset before we go green again. So thank you so much for coming to talk to us, Justin, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again later at the end of this race.
I hope so. Thank you. Good luck, guys.
Good luck to you, Justin. And that's the driver, the number 20, Justin McDuff, currently running in 3rd place. And as he said, he thinks he's got a shot at this if we can get some green flags. So if we get a long run, maybe watch for that 20 to challenge the 62 and the 39 in front of him.
And Justin has been trying to make some moves. And I feel Justin is being a bit conservative, knowing he's got a long race ahead of him. Hasn't really put that car in a bad spot yet, except for that one time we saw them all try to go 3 wide on the opening lap. But they all came out on top of it. But man, I've been impressed by the 2 of Steph Marinac. He charged to the front of the field, and now he's been sitting solidly inside the top 5. Hasn't yet been able to advance past 4th place, but be watching that 2 machine. But I'll tell you, that 39 of Bill Martin really has figured out how to start this super late model, as each time the green flag comes out, he shoots out like a shot from a cannon.
Yeah, we got to watch for maybe the 62 and the 20. Maybe it's a kind of guess when he's going to launch here, and maybe they'll be able to get a good launch as well and challenge him into turn 1, or at least kind of keep a bit closer to him.
All right, lights are out on the pace car. We get ready to go green to flag racing once again, and the 39 of Bill Martin with another excellent start and pulls ahead of the 62 of Cody McCauley. Justin McDuff in the 20 machine to the inside of McCauley, but McCauley rolls that middle very well. So does the 2 of Steph Marinac. The 20 machine of McDuff falling to 4th, Marinac into 3rd.
And that was just a good use of track position by McCauley. He kept his car low, prevented McDuff from getting a good exit off of that corner by forcing him to stay low on the racetrack and forcing him to stay out of the throttle just a little bit longer. So some great heads-up racing from that 62 machine. Kind of gives him a good advantage, holds off that 20, and actually puts a car between him and that 20. But I think replacing the 20 with the 2 in your rear view mirror is not much better, because both of those guys are good, and McCauley's going to have his hands full defending both of them if they manage to catch up to him.
One driver we haven't talked a lot about in this event, the 98 machine of Chris Stump. He is into 5th place, and that driver right there, once a professional driver, toured with a super late model series, and here he is in 5th place. Better keep an eye on that 98 piloted by Chris Stump. He's still got a lot of laps to make his way to the front.
It's kind of an interesting thing we're kind of getting up here in this top 5. We've got 2 rookies kind of in 1st and 2nd, drivers that we personally don't know too much about, and then 3 drivers that we've seen for a few seasons now. I think the only one that's the shortest amount of time in this league is the 98 of Chris Stump, this being his 2nd season, but we've seen enough of these guys to know those 3 drivers are some fantastic drivers. So it's kind of a question of the skill of Martin and McCauley being tested early in the season. Is can these guys race hard against some of the top drivers that are kind of the proven top drivers of this league? Can they make themselves one of those guys that we talk about going, all right, these guys are some fast drivers, watch for them to be at the front. So it's kind of an opportunity for these 2 drivers, for the 39 to 62 of Martin and McCauley, to kind of prove themselves here tonight.
Drivers starting to get single file in the top 10. Everyone trying to log some laps right now and feel out this Iowa Speedway. They have been mired with some cautions, but there is a lot of speed out there still to be had, and everyone really trying to lay down some good laps. Cody McCauley in the 62 goes way high through 3 and 4. Steph Marinac down on the bottom, but McCauley looks like he enjoys running that high line through 3 and 4.
Yeah, he's been going to the bottom through 1 and 2, but yeah, as you mentioned, he stays high in 3 and 4, and it's been working well for him so far. He's been getting some fantastic runs off of turn 4, and it's just, I think that line just allows him to hold a bit more speed. And just take a look here between him and Marinac, as Marinac kind of gains a little bit on him through the middle of the corner, but coming off that corner, McCauley just has so much more exit speed and opens up that gap again over the straightaway.
That is a battle that will shape up for 2nd place. Meanwhile, Justin McDuff taking a peek to the inside. trying to make something happen for third. Stump right now rounds out your top 5. But Justin Fuller, past champion here in the Upstate Racing League, finds himself in 6th place. 7th going to AJ Rogers right now in that 17 machine. And Rogers really trying to close in on the back bumper of Fuller. Rogers might be making some noise here in a little bit, but our boss man, the 96, Al Smith, in 8th place, with the 70 of Dylan Canova right behind him, and Brian Hacker in the 11 rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, don't count out the 96 because he is our biggest mover now. I mentioned before he had advanced 14 positions. Now it's up to 16 as he got another 2 spots since that restart. But as we get past our halfway point, just a quick reminder, these guys are not allowed to change tires. It's a 109 lap race, and they must complete all 109 laps on the same set of tires. So very similar to real life. These guys in real life don't have pit crews. You know, a late model or a super late model team might just be 5 guys in a truck with some tools. So you're not going to have guys coming down and doing NASCAR style pit stops in real life. So in this league, they kind of reflected that in the rule of no changing tires. You have to conserve those tires and be gentle with what you've got and make it last. And we'll have to see if Bill Martin, he's been running some great laps, opened up a nearly full second on Macaulay, but has he been pushing too hard in this opening half of the race? We may see him kind of fall off a bit of a tire cliff, or maybe he's not going to be as good on worn tires as some of these other guys, because we'll just have to see if maybe someone can kind of conserve a bit more. And that's one of the things that's the question is around Macaulay, is he's been running this high line for 3 and 4. Has that been helping him with his tire conservation?
A lot of questions to be answered, and we gotta wait until lap 109 to answer them. And this race is really starting to heat up. Al Smith in the 96 is closing in on the back bumper of the 17 of AJ Rogers, but Rogers is closed in on Fuller. So we're about ready to see a 3-car battle here for 6th place.
Yeah, look at the 17 of Rogers getting right up to the bumper of the 51. He's kind of maybe kind of looking at Fuller, and Fuller is not a rookie, but he hasn't been around a long time. So there are a lot of guys that may have been racing in this league for 2-3 years, but they haven't seen Justin Fuller race. They don't know what his tendencies are going to be, but AJ Rogers himself is a rookie. So no matter what, he doesn't know what Fuller is going to be like. So this is their maybe kind of their very first interaction in this league, or in a points paying race in this league. So we're going to see how these guys are going to kind of tackle each other. As look at the 17 kind of taking a peek to the inside of that 51 machine.
AJ Rogers taking a peek, but a lot of great battles all over this Iowa Speedway. And right now, Mark Royer in the 36 battling with the 7 of Brett Rolls. And behind them, the 00, Tim Hale, trying to recover from the end of the line penalty he received. Made it back up to 24 spot as he is trying to find a way around the 24 of Brandon Otto.
The gap for the leader now is increasing, is now up to 1.1 seconds. So Bill Martin, with an open, clear track in front of him, doesn't have to worry about anyone in front or behind him. He's just kind of set himself into cruise control, and maybe we'll see if he can kind of cruise off a little bit. McDuff was saying during the long run he thinks he can catch him, but we'll have to see if that's the case. I mean, Martin was one of the fastest drivers in practice. In practice, he put up the 5th fastest time, so Martin does have some quick speed, and he's showing it so far. He's now just able to just kind of hot lap in front of this field.
Yeah, Martin has been our sole race leader as he has led all 66 completed laps here tonight, and he continues to pick them up and lay them down. 62 of Cody McCauley right now in 2nd place. Doesn't look like he has anything for Bill Martin just yet, but with all the laps we got left, that's about 43 laps to go. That will maybe change as we see 2 very different lines by the 62 and the 39.
And even between the 62 and the 2, we're seeing different lines, and we're kind of seeing how these are shaping up a little bit. As Again, 62 staying way high on the racetrack. McCauley loves that high line through 3 and 4, but Marinac through both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, he comes down all the way down to that yellow line. Maybe staying up a little, he looks like he's staying up a little bit higher now as his tires are starting to get a little bit worn out, but he's still kind of running a very similar to line to what he's always been running. But now he's going to be challenged by McDuff. He's going to go to the high side and kind of just let McDuff by, and now Justin maybe going to try to chase down McCauley here.
Maybe a good move to save a little bit on the tires by the 2 of Marinac. Not going to try and hold off the hard charging 20 of McDuff. You never know, could come back, and you'll see this in races. You get your comers, you get your goers, and you get those who want to drop back and conserve a little bit. Maybe Marinac right now deciding, I've been pushing a little bit too hard. I want to try and slow my pace down and have something left for the end of the race.
Yeah, these guys have to start thinking about their tires now. They're going to be feeling them at this point. These tires have been working hard, and the other thing is, it's not just the tire wear, it's the tire heat. The heat is almost more important than the wear. If you get those tires extremely hot, they're not going to have any grip. So you'll see, if we get another caution, you'll see the tires cool down, and you'll see these guys suddenly have a lot more grip than they did earlier. But at this point, those tires are going to be warm. They're going to be starting to get worn out as well. And if you see one guy maybe get a little bit loose in a corner, that's going to heat that slide will heat those tires up, and then he's just going to have even more problems with that car sliding. So these guys have to be very careful at this point in the race. And now that gap between McCauley and Martin is starting to shrink a little bit. Not by much. We're now down to just 1 second flat, but it is coming down a little bit.
The lead is shrinking for Martin, but meanwhile, drivers battling all throughout this field. Joe Schaefer Jr. in the 6 machine on the inside of the 11 of Brian Hacker. Schaefer, a rookie here in the Upstate Racing League, and he is going to slide up in front of Hacker and take over 10th place. Now he sets his sights on the 70 of Dylan Canova.
Now see if he can close that gap to Canova. Canova's got about 3/10 over him at the line that last time by, but that gap seems to be closing a little bit. We'll have to see what it is at the line this time by, but Joe Schaefer seems to have a little bit of speed in that car. At that line, still about 3/10 of a second, so kind of holding even with Canova's. And Canova is a good driver. I believe he was the 11th place driver last season, which earned him the Best of the Rest award that is given to those drivers that don't make the chase, and then kind of whoever finishes in 11th season. So he is a good driver, just missed the chase, but I think at the cutoff point, I think he may have missed it only by a couple of points, maybe just a handful of points. So he's a driver that's wanting to get off to a good start and kind of get himself into the chase this year, and running in 9th place at the time being, well, that's good enough for chase points.
Looking throughout the rest of this field, the 72 of Andy Lambert challenging the 13 of Guillaume Fortin. Guillaume caught up in an incident earlier tonight. That 13 machine has made it back up into 12th place. He is trying really hard to gain that lost ground. Right now it looks like he is settled in where he is at, but a rough night for Guillaume, but maybe able to turn it around here as he finds himself in 12th place.
Another question that may come up is the fuel. These guys never had to deal with fuel before, and they may not have to deal with it tonight with the cautions that happened, but now looking at Cody McCauley, he's starting to have to deal with some lap traffic now, so we'll have to keep an eye on these guys because it may change up the races a little bit now that the leaders are dealing with these lap traffic cars. And looking at that gap, McCauley's holding a good gap over McDuff, and he's starting to close the gap on Martin just a little bit more. Now we're down to 9/10 of a second, and at this time across the line, he had to deal with a lap car, so it is going to go up. He is back over a second of a gap, so Martin dealing with the traffic just a little bit better.
The 39 machine, Bill Martin, right now enjoying a 1.2 second lead over Cody McCauley as we go high atop the blimp here at Iowa. McCauley staying committed to the line he has been running. Bill Martin also committed to that bottom lane, and it looks like it has been working for both these drivers. And
Oh, no, look at that. Look at the gap that's suddenly closed. Remember, we were talking about McDuff being a half a second back. He was making an attempt at McCauley there. He somehow gained half a second on McCauley, and looks like McCauley actually had a really bad lap, lost 2/10 on Martin.
And now McDuff on the back bumper of the 62. McDuff going to make a move down to the inside. And McCauley stays high through 3 and 4. Going to get the momentum off the corner. McDuff slides in behind him. And Justin McDuff now really starting to put the pressure on to the 62.
I think the 62 has either had his tires fall off a cliff or something, because he just suddenly started losing time. He was just, I think 2 laps ago, he was a second behind Martin, and now he's 1.6 seconds. So something has gone wrong with McCauley. Either he fell out of his groove and lost some time. Now he's gained a bit of time on Martin that time. So it may have just been that he lost his groove, or he just kind of had to make an adjustment to how his driving line or his driving method for these tires. But something had happened to that 62, and he lost a ton of ground.
This battle settles down just a little bit as McDuff falls back a touch. McCauley able to hold off the charge for the moment, but it just goes to show that one mistake can cost you a lot of ground on the racetrack.
Yeah, especially with these cars. That's one of the things that the drivers are talking about during the media night on Sunday is with the increased horsepower of these cars, it's a little bit easier to kind of capitalize on mistakes that other drivers have made. And now these guys are starting to get in a mix with the lap traffic there, forcing McDuff to take a bit of a higher line than he normally does. But this might actually help him out a little bit. That's another thing with this, with racing, is these cars aren't static. This track isn't static. The tires are changing. The track is changing. You have to go out and find the grip, and that was something that our previous 2 years champion did, and that's something I mentioned about him every time, is that he went searching for where the grip was. He wasn't always running the same line. McCauley has been consistent. He's been consistently running the best line, or the best line for him, but hasn't actually been the best line. It was good early on, but now that he's lost some ground, it might not be that best line.
Taking a look on board the 70 of Dylan Canova as he works his way around the 15 machine. Going one lap down is Matthew Barkhouse. And right now, that means we have 23 cars on the lead lap. Mike Alexander in the 75 and 24th place. Last car on the lead lap for the moment, but in danger of going one lap down as Brandon Otto in the 24 now goes one lap down as well.
Yeah, I think
36
Alexander
Mark
just got
Royer in
passed.
trouble now.
Yeah, looks like Martin, he is cutting his way through these lap traffic cars, and that is extremely important for him to maintain this lead. If he gets kind of boxed in or bogged down with any of these guys, it could kill that gap almost instantly. But McCauley's still losing ground. He's lost a few tenths these past couple laps, but McDuff almost seems like the faster driver, but he just can't line up a pass here. Anytime he kind of tries to go for it off of turn 3, but McCauley's line still carries him a lot of exit speed off that line, so, or off that 4th corner. So it's hard for McDuff to kind of set up a pass if he's getting out dragged off that last corner. McDuff now actually taking a bit of a different line through 1 and 2, and that's going to get him a bit of ground on the 62.
McDuff again to the bottom of 3 and 4. McCauley staying high. Both drivers merge to that outside wall down the straightaway.
And taking a look now, looks like that the 20 trying a different line, going a bit higher through turn 2, trying to see if he can carry a bit more speed, and now maybe going to try to use that 24 as kind of a pick, as that 62 is going to have to try to split the gap. He is going to be able to get just clear enough to get under the 24 of Otto, so not going to be able to use the lap car to his advantage. But while these guys are battling and cutting through this traffic, Bill Martin's kind of starting to run away with this race. We're getting towards the last 10 laps of this race, and he's 1.7 seconds in the lead, so really a good chance for Martin to kind of, it's kind of just in Martin's hands right now. Just his race to lose as he's taken off. Oh, here comes Steph Marinak, as we're talking about this. Marinak kind of making a move on the 20. They're almost 4 wide with some lap cars. almost getting into Brandon Otto. He's trying to make a move on the 20 of McDuff as we're getting towards the tail end of this race. We saw Marinak move aside for McDuff earlier and let McDuff kind of chase down McCauley. But now that we're getting towards the end of this, Marinak wants the position. They're going to just shove the lap cars out of the way. They're door to door at the start finish line.
Man, oh man, the race off of turn 4, 3 wide coming off. Marinak like a fullback saying this is time to go, and he is going to make the pass on the 20 of McDuff, but McDuff says, hold on, man, I'm not letting you have this spot without a battle. And McDuff now on the inside. How long can Justin McDuff hold off the 2 of Steph Marinak?
And this is the battle to watch now, the battle for third. Neither of these drivers giving an inch, and now just Marinak edging ahead, and that is going to allow him to move ahead of the 20. Looks like maybe the 20 is going to try a high line off of 4. Looks like actually his tires can't quite hold on to it. So it seems like Marinak just has a bit more corner speed because he's got some fresher tires, or he's just managing those worn tires a little bit better and able to kind of pull away from McDuff on the corners.
Meanwhile, battling throughout this field, Matt McLean in the 88 in a battle with the 13 of Guillaume Fortin and the 22 of Mike Holtzclaw. But Mike Holtzclaw is 1 lap down. He is out there along with the 15 of Matt Barkhouse as we got one going down to the infield. I believe Guillaume Fortin has found some trouble. Gathers it back in, no yellow, but Guillaume shot down to the grass coming off of turn 4.
And while we were talking about that, back up towards the front, Marinak got into the wall off of turn number 4. That allowed McDuff to get back around him. So with only 11 laps to go, Marinak has got to recover from this, but he lost half a second on McDuff. And while these guys were fighting, McDuff and Marinak lost a full second over McCauley. So McCauley kind of sitting pretty in that second place right now. And if he just keeps it clean for the rest of this race, he might have second locked up. But now McDuff has to keep trying to keep himself consistent and maintain that gap over Marinak. And the question is, when Marinak hit the wall, did he damage that right side of the car? If he did, he might have something rubbing the tire, and that'll slow him down immensely.
Checking in on the 17 of AJ Rogers. Rogers losing some ground here quickly. Justin Fuller right in front of him. Fuller gets into the wall 3 wide down the front stretch. Dylan Canova in the 70, the 6 of Joe Schaefer. These drivers know they have 9 laps to go. Everyone's starting to lay it out there and use up whatever they have left.
Talking about our biggest mover just in front of them, Al Smith has moved himself up to 6th, started 24th in this race, and he's just trying to hold off Justin Fuller. Dylan Canova trying to battle away with the 6 of Joe Schaefer. So Schaefer now looking towards that inside of Canova. He wants 8th place. He wants to get as many points as he can in this first race of the season, but Canova holding him off well, and really a good battle between these guys here.
AJ Rogers right now rounding out your top 10, but with 7 laps to go, still has time to maybe gain a spot or 2 as the 6 closes in on the 70. Schaefer trying to challenge Canova for 8th place.
Now taking a quick peek up at the front, the gap has closed a little bit between McCauley and McDuff. However, with only 6 to go, there's still over 7/10 of a second. McDuff has got to make up a lot of time. He has pulled away from Marinak, so I think there is a bit of a problem on that 2 machine. He's either worn out his tires too much or just getting to the wall caused enough damage to kind of slow him up, but he is kind of safely in that 4th spot. Looking through at the rest of the field, we still got a good battle between Canova and Schaefer right now, as they're starting to encounter a few lap traffic cars right now, but they're trying to chase down Justin Fuller right in front of them.
The 36 machine of Mark Royer finding himself 1 lap down in 24th spot, staying out of the way of this battle, trying to be respectful to our lead lap cars as they have 4 laps to go here in the Fueled by Verge 109 at Iowa.
Lap are counting down. Bill Martin sitting pretty 2.5 seconds up from McCauley, so I'm sure that car is in cruise control. Bill Martin has led, he started at first and has led every single lap of this race. I mean, the great driving from that 39 machine. He started third in his heat, immediately went to the first place at his heat, securing pole. Oh, caution. So the thing that actually, no, I was about to say Bill Martin does not want to see this, but Bill Martin does want to see this because it's lap 108. Bill Martin has won this race.
All right, let's go to our turn 3 instant replay. As I thought maybe it was AJ Rogers, but he was on pit road. So I'm not sure what our caution was for here tonight. If you can tell me, Kelly, we might be able to see it.
Yeah, Bill Martin had passed a car that was sideways as I was looking at him. It looks like it was Matthew Barkhouse. Something happened with that 15 machine. We're gonna have to take a look at it. It looks like him and Guillaume Fortin got into each other coming off of turn number 4.
But Guillaume powered up to get up off the corner. The 15, not as much. And Guillaume making contact with the 15 of Barkhouse. That is going to bring out our yellow here tonight. And Bill Martin getting the 1 lap left white flag final lap here in the Fueled by Verge 109 at Iowa. However, is there going to be a green-white checkered attempt?
I do not believe so. I don't think this league will be using it. And I just something calling back to an earlier discussion. I just saw the double zero get waved around, I think. So there may be a lucky dog in this league. We'll have to clarify with the admin team after, but not been something we've had to encounter much before. But yeah, it looks to be though that Bill Martin is gonna secure this race. I mean, some fantastic driving from him, and we didn't really have to see him race too many people because this whole race he just took off and he just used some immense speed to open up a large gap over Macaulay, and this really was his race to lose from the drop of the green flag.
So the 39 of Bill Martin gonna cross the start finish line as your race winner for this race, finishing under caution. A rundown of, well, it's been reset, so never mind. But we did have a caution-filled last chance qualifier. Drivers had to settle down here in the main event, the Fueled by Verge 109. But then after they did, we saw some great racing here with the Upstate Racing League Late Model Pro Series. And Bill Martin's going to win the first race of the year, kicked off right here at Iowa. No one go anywhere. We're going to set up our post-race show brought to you by Austin Designs as we watch the 39, the 62, and the 20 make their way onto the front stretch. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we set up our Austin's Designs post-race show fueled by Verge. Our race winner here tonight at Iowa. And Kelly, you have caught up with the 39 machine.
Yeah, I'm caught up with the driver of the 39 machine, Bill Martin. And Bill, first race of the season, first race in this league, and you lead every single one of the 109 laps. And really, it was essentially a clean sweep for you as you also won your heat. And is this the kind of the track working out in your favor, or what? Or is this maybe not your best track and you just had a good night?
Well, this is one of my best tracks, actually. I've spent a lot of time on this track over the past 5-6 years, just running a lot of official races. My teammates on the posse, we've done a lot of setup building here, and just over time we've gotten to be really comfortable and really good at it. The guys behind me, they were just as fast as I was, and sometimes they were a little quicker. But I was thinking they might have been pushing a little too hard on the tires, so I was kind of hoping for a long run, see if maybe that was the case. Realistically, I don't think they really were, because, I mean, I'd get a 10th here or there, but for the most part, they were every bit as fast as I was, so it's a little bit of an advantage just being in the lead, period, because that's how racing is today. The lap cars are a little more inclined to get out of your way if you're the first place car. Air's a little cleaner. So, I mean, I had a few advantages. The restarts are a great advantage when the leader's allowed to go as soon as pace car's off. Especially here, if we were to start right on the green flag every time, the guy on the outside is going to have a huge chance. So everything worked out, but I think it went pretty good.
Yeah, we saw a large variety of lines run by everyone throughout the night. And what did you feel like was just kind of the best line for you around this racetrack?
A lot of times guys will search lines out at this place, and after a while everybody starts going middle to top, even in the what would be maybe considered the standard lower line, but most guys will start to drift up a little bit. Fastest way around the track, at least usually for me, as soon as you get to about halfway into a long run like that, is to put your left sides as close to that yellow line as possible, because there's really nobody else running down there, so the heat's not in the track. And as the run went on and I was able to back up a little bit with the lap traffic, it seemed to work really, really well. The back end of the car stayed under me, so it was really working out.
A bit of a question here from the stream chat. Got one person wondering how much would it cost for them to have their YouTube avatar put on your car?
I guess it depends who it is.
All right, there we go. So some great driving from Bill Martin. You've got a good season up ahead of you, so some great driving tonight. But who do you wish to thank for this good run you had tonight and this great opening start of the season?
Well, I got to thank the league runner because he allowed me to join this league kind of on good faith, so I appreciate that. And Joe Schaefer for bringing me over and suggesting it. I had a good time. Obviously, it's great to lead and win the race, but it can be kind of boring. Anybody who's ever led a race the whole way, it's like, I would kind of like to race with some guys, but it sure is great to win. And there's at least 5 other guys that were behind me just as good as I was, probably better than I was. And I look forward to racing with them in the future.
All right, well, we look forward to having you on here in the future, and hopefully we do see you more times throughout the season. Thank you so much for coming out and talking to us, and congratulations again on your win there tonight.
Thank you guys very much.
That was Bill Martin, driver in the number 39 and winner of the Fueled by Verge 109. Now going back over to KR, and I believe KR will be with our second place finisher.
I have caught up with the 62 of Cody McCauley. And Cody, we saw you commit to that high side through 3 and 4 the entire race. Tell us a little bit about your race here tonight at Iowa.
Well, we had a really good car. Great field position, a really aggressive first start helped us out a lot. I know traditionally we don't usually go 3 wide off turn 2, but I had good faith in the guys outside of me, so I said we'll make it work. Got good track position, just restarts killed us. We could not figure out Bill's restarts. He started somewhere different every single time, and he'd get about 4 or 5 car lengths, and then I told told my teammates for the race that I'm going to work the high line all night long. If it comes in, it comes in. If it doesn't, then we're probably not going to win. And as you can see, it really never came to us. I think it actually hurt us. We used a lot more rubber than we wanted to. Long runs were a struggle. Justin just about got us there towards the end. We got lucky with some lap traffic and trapped him a little bit, but overall, it was a good night. Bill ran a perfect race. Congrats to him. That was awesome. We just look forward to next week.
Well, Cody, that black 62 machine, we saw you in last year on the Dirt Series really show your talent behind the wheel with this Upstate Racing League. Here you are finishing second tonight in the opening race for the Pro Series at Iowa. I know it's a bit early, second place here, but what can we expect out of you all season?
Shooting for a championship, and we want to go, back to back, dirt and asphalt, and roll right back around up there again. I think that's everybody's goal, is to win a championship, win races. So, second place is a good start. We still got a long way to go. It's a long season.
All right, Cody. Well, before we let you go, any shout outs or thank yous you'd like to give?
For sure. Got to thank Scott Austin with Austin Designs. He put together a really good looking car. Brian Hacker nicknamed it Batmobile. We're going to run with that the rest of the season. I got to thank Tim Pruitt, Nancy Pruitt with Pruitt Team Realty. They anything we need, they hook us up with it. Papa Austin, he beats on the fenders every week. He'll get a kick out of this. I know he's out there watching right now. And Al and all the guys at Upstate for putting on a great race.
All right, Cody, man. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and congratulations on second place.
Thanks, guys.
That was Cody McCauley in the 62. Now, Kelly, I believe you've caught up with our third place finisher.
Yeah, I'm caught up here once again with Justin McDuff. Justin, we spoke in the middle of the race. Now speaking at the end of the race, you finished in third. How you battled a little bit with both McCauley and with Marinak. I mean, how was the battles through the last half of this race?
It was good. We finally got that long run that I was begging for when I talked to you guys the first time there. They ran me really clean. I was impressed with the way Cody was able to make the top work, especially down in 3 and 4. I didn't really think that was going to come in. And then I thought I was going to get Cody for second there, and then we got bottled up behind some lap traffic, and it got really hairy there for a few laps, and then Stefan got by me, and I think he got the wall, and I got back by him. So it was a good race, a lot of fun, and we'll take it and move on.
And with this finish here tonight, how much does it really mean to you to have a really strong finish, a good top 3 to start the season?
Oh, it's always important to come out of the gate strong. I know Iowa's pretty unique compared to the rest of the schedule that we run, but anytime you can build momentum, if you can use it, momentum is very important to have on your side. So we're just gonna move on to Milwaukee, which is another unique track, and then see what happens from there. It's when we really get into the short track part of the schedule, the true short tracks, and then that's when the cream will rise.
Yeah, looking ahead to the rest of this season, is there any kind of track that kind of comes to mind that you're really looking forward to in the rest of the season?
I got my eye on a few. Lanier and South Boston are two that I really like. I also really like Iowa. It's been a track that's been really good to me. But with the random heats and stuff, a lot can happen, and you just got to be on your game and give it your all and see what happens. Let the cards fall where they may.
All right, Justin, thank you so much for coming and talking to us. But before we let you go, who do you wish to thank for this finish here tonight?
Oh, well, first I want to say congrats to Bill. He ran a great race. He took advantage of that starting spot and he ran with it. He seems like a pretty cool guy, so I'm looking forward to racing with him some more as the year goes on. Thanks to Al Smith and for Verge Currency for coming on board this year. They seem like they're going to be a really big supporter and strong partner for the URL, so I'm looking forward to that relationship continuing to develop. Thanks to you guys. You guys do a great job. And I got to thank my sponsors, Arts Barbershop, the Cerebral Palsy Foundation, and Rumar Vinyl Designs. I think that's everybody. Oh, and my teammates from Empire Racing Team.
Yeah, don't want to forget them, or else they'll be getting on your
Had a
case
long
for
list
this.
there.
You do have quite the list. So thank you so much for coming out and talking to us, Justin. Congrats on the finish here tonight, and hopefully we'll see you again next week, or if not then, maybe in a few more races this season.
Thank you. You guys have a great night.
All right, thank you very much. That was Justin McDuff, driver the number 30 and our third place finisher here tonight, KR.
Yeah, Justin McDuff with an outstanding finish, bringing it home in third. Nothing left to go through but the race results here tonight. Bill Martin, your race winner, led all the laps out here. Cody McCauley in the 62 tried to run him down, just couldn't get it done. Justin McDuff in the 20 machine finishing third. We got to talk to all three of those drivers in our Austin Designs post-race show. Steph Marinak finishing in fourth place. Fifth, going to the 98 of Chris Stump. Al Smith in the 96 finishing sixth. Seventh, going to the 51 of Justin Fuller. Eighth, Dylan Canova. Ninth, going to Joe Schaefer Jr. And 11th will be Brian Hacker to round out your top 10. Or I'm sorry, in 10th will be Brian Hacker in the 11 machine. Oh, it's been a long night.
Well, actually finishing in 11th is the 72 of Andy Lambert. Rex Hoyle brings it home in 12th. Matt McLean, another one of our big movers, goes from 29th to finish in 13th. Scott Austin finishes in 14th. Guillaume Fortin runs into a bit of trouble throughout the race, ends up finishing in 15th. Jimmy McIntyre Jr. started in second, seemed to have a promising night, but ran into trouble early on, comes home in 16th. 17th goes to AJ Hamill. Ty Cole finishes in 18th. Tim Hale will be our last car on the lead lap in 19th, and Mike Alexander finishes 20th.
21st going to Brett Bartels in the 42. 22nd going to Brandon Otto. 23rd will be the 36 of Mark Royer. 24th, John Ouellette. 25th will be Brett Rolls. Mike Holtzclaw in the 22 machine finishing 26th. 27th will be AJ Rogers. 28th, Matthew Barkhouse. 29th will be Bill Bessler in the 21 machine, and Jeremy Carpenter starting in 30th or finishing in 30th place here tonight. So, Kelly, the race is over and done with. Final thoughts on our opening race of the season here at Iowa.
It went off to a bit of a rough start in the feature, but one thing I do have to mention is this new heat racing format. Just in this one race, I'm hoping every race turns out like this. Those heat races were fantastic, and I mean, they had there was the group qualifying format before, which was pretty good. I did enjoy having, the groups running out instead of, everyone kind of going on their own time in a single car session, but this heat racing format just brings so much more excitement and action to the track. It really shakes up the field and allows for more people to win the race on the track instead of just setting a good qualifying time and just kind of walking away from the rest of the field. So really we had some great racing once everyone kind of shook off the rust and got rid of the jitters, and we got to see some fantastic driving. And we rib on Al Smith a lot, but he was our biggest mover of the night. We got to give him a little bit of props for moving from 24th to 6th.
Outstanding race for Al Smith for sure, as he had a lot of moves to make tonight here at Iowa. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us here at the Turn 3 Racing Network. If you haven't done so, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. It goes a long way for these drivers to know that you as a fan, enjoyed the show that they put on for you tonight here at Iowa. And it also means a lot to the sponsors of the Upstate Racing League. This has been the Fueled by Verge 109 at Iowa. For myself, K.R. Stolfus, thank you for joining me. And Kelly Dahl, also, guys, we all had a blast here tonight. Make sure you tune in next Thursday night as we bring you some more action-packed Upstate Racing League Fueled by Verge action. And until then, y'all have a good night.